Please, the expectations sheet out of the 5 or 6 that you picked up when you came in. Let's see where we're at over here. So this should be the one that you've got out now. As you're going through, I mean, there's only so much of this that should be new for you. The big things, I guess, on here, in terms of what you need, understand that in Calc, part of the course is calculator-based and some of it is not. So you won't have any form of calculator. Like some of them, you need the full functionality of the Inspire and all of its graphs, etc. And some of it, we're literally going to be doing by hand. You won't even have a simple scientific one. I think the point breakdown is like 60% calculator-based and 40% non-calculator on the AP exam. But that's what we're gearing you guys to go through and take if you didn't know. There is a little bit that's awkward about this too. As far as enrollment, all of you are eligible to go through and take the AP if you have passed pre-calc. You're eligible to take the AP exam, then you'd sign up however they do all of that. I handle none of that. The other thing is the class is offered as a dual credit class through MCC also, but there's some trade-offs for that. You all, though, raise your hand if you at least have a list of colleges you're interested in going. Okay, so my advice for you is this. Your outline and what you do in here should depend on what your future colleges are looking for. The AP exam to take it costs like 90-ish, is that right? 100? 90 to $100. And then to take, if you were to take this though through MCC, that is an additional maybe $185. But what you're looking to get out of it sort of depends on what your enrollment is. I know that some colleges don't take any form of AP credit in. Some colleges only take AP credits if they're not within your major, and some take them no matter what you have. So if like you're going to be a sociology major and you take AP Calc, they may take it like U of R, but if you are a math major at U of R and you've got a 5 on AP Calc, they may not take it. MCC credits transfer in, they may not count towards the major where the AP would. Call the colleges you're interested in, call the registrar's office. It takes 5 minutes. But you don't want to be, the thing I guess I don't want to have happen, we had it happen with a couple of kids, they took the AP exam and then went to RIT. RIT doesn't take AP Calc scores that transfer in. They got a 5. Then the other end of it is, if they had sat and taken the MCC exam, which again, about 80% of MCC Calc we actually go above and beyond what MCC does. They have some bunch of easier topics. But in any event, if he had taken and gotten 80 on that, would have passed and the credits would have transferred in. But he didn't know what college he was going to and didn't sign up. And then there's always the other end of it where people go, well, I signed up for the AP, you mean I wasted $90? Well, no, I think actually, by the way, with the AP, they refund you until the exam. Is that right? Somebody backed out of an AP? I think that they give you the money back, I'm not sure. But for sure, I know that if you go to the MCC and you don't use it, up to a certain date, you can at least get some of the money back. But again, I don't teach especially to the MCC Calc, we teach AP Calc. The thing about this that is really cool and a lot of fun, but the part that for some of you gets a little bit irritating, it's sort of a thinking and analysis class. Like you're taking calculus for engineering majors. That's what AP Calc is. It's applied calculus, meaning like we can look at problems now. Who's taking earth science? Is that still a thing? Like, it's not earth science, though, right? Isn't it like, oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So is that you probably learned about rivers and sediment and that, right? Yeah? No? Okay, so one of the things that's really cool is we can look at, if you're looking at calculus, we start doing the math that you know, and we go above and beyond. And one of the questions that always comes up is like, if you worked, and this is an actual job, in the Mississippi River, if you work down in New Orleans, the biggest port, pretty much, I want to say it's the largest in terms of commercial volume, but in the Western Hemisphere, we are, it's the biggest one, it's in North America, and it's through us. The part about it that gets really awkward is they're going through and doing that. The Mississippi River is always bringing like sediment with it as it empties out, like all of New Orleans is just sediment. And As that's happening, the problem with having gigantic ships come in is what happens to all of that sediment again? It starts building up. So if you work in New Orleans, there's 8 people who make over $100,000 a year whose job it is to figure out where to dredge that pond, or where to dredge out, that bed. Because if too much sediment builds in there and a giant ship comes in, guess what happens? What? What happens when you try to take a ship into like 5 feet deep water? Yeah, you kind of can't. And I don't know if you realize, if you take in, like there's a thing called the Exxon Valdez, did any of you hear about that? They got a little bit too close to some rocks in Alaska because the guy was actually drinking and driving a boat, but got too close and wasn't paying attention to that. And the person whose job it was to alert them was also one of the dredgers. He didn't show up to work that day, and he crashed. And remember how they had that thing in New Orleans where all of the oil was, that thing, I don't know if you guys remember, 2008 oil spill? No? Okay, well it happened. It was a catastrophic disaster. And the same thing happened, except it didn't happen in the middle of the ocean. It happened where sea lions go to live and ducks go to live and like all this wildlife died because of it. That's literally a calculus-based job. We've been talking about it when you would need it. My sister was complaining about, they don't need to know this. So we were talking about it, and I'm like, when will they see it? Now, where was this? Who knows what the Burning Man? Who knows? 2 of you? 1 of you? Can you describe it, or you just know that it happened?
My brother goes.
Okay, so from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, this is literally somebody who watches it from the news. It seems like some sort of EDM / like, I want to say like quasi-hippie, but maybe not hippie. Is that fair to say? There's a lot of different people. If you can't find a home, or maybe it's tough for you to find like a social group, I can assure you, if you go to Burning Man, there's one of everyone. And I mean everyone. Now, it's called Burning Man because at the end of the festival every year, they have this gigantic wooden structure. And by the way, it's in the middle of the desert. There's like 80,000 people that go through and show up. The way that they design the city is by rings. So like you go around, like New York City is north and south. This city is designed like around, it's in the middle of the desert. It's incredibly fascinating. And it's all math people. Like this right here, this is the Burning Man temple for the year. So what happens if you go to Burning Man, a lot of people view it as like a rebirth type thing. And so if you had like a really, really crappy year, or you were bad to somebody or whatever, you got something you want to get off your chest, you write it down in a piece of paper, you go into the Burning Man temple every year, you stick it in there, and then on the last day, I'll give you a hint, it's made of wood. Think of the name of the festival. What do you think happens on the last day? Well, there you go. They burn. Now, what did they make this year? This is a calculus shape. Like it's a cone with the center cut out. I mean, that's as coarse as we can get it. All of this architecture, by the way, is to make sure that the flames like actually work. I was trying to find out what the past ones that they've done, because when you look at it, like this is one. This was a proposal of it. This is a blueprint. They built that. Calc. Here's what it is. Bigger picture. So this, by the way, is humans. You can see a little bit of a big structure. Kind of see the one that they had before. So this is a demo one that they did. It's still going on. You can go and like this one and some of it. It's pretty cool, but it's all Calc based. If you're interested in any sort of technical field after high school, this is the class for you. If you're going through, if you just enjoy math or like problem solving, this is for you. Things that get frustrating, though, about this class. First off, let me be explicitly clear. Our grading system, I guess, is designed to get you through the AP. However, you by no means have to take the AP exam. It's not necessary. And some of, I guess, the most rewarding experiences that I've had teaching this aren't from the kids who get popped. I've had I'll put it this way. Every single year that I've taught the class, I've had at least one person who got through, and by the way, I'll put it, I don't want to say it the wrong way. If you show up every day and you bring your A game and you're actually putting the work in, I find it very hard to fail somebody that's actually putting the work. and that means, we'll talk about the work. But if you go through and sit through this class, maybe it won't click the first time. The best experiences I've had are from the kids who didn't get it, who struggled through all year, and then come back and go, you know what? I took Calc at my 2-year, 4-year school, whatever, and oh my God, it finally made sense. All of that stuff that we did with derivatives and with limits and blah, 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 we saw why we were doing it and sort of all the beauty that happens within. The thing that isn't maybe to your benefit, some of you guys get by and people will give you like a charity 65. Like, if you didn't really get the 65, but you're there and they sort of push it through the system. This isn't mandatory. Like if you're here, my hope is that you're here because you want to be here and that you're looking to get something out of it. And if you don't do the work, the only person who doesn't benefit is you. And I don't want that to be anyone. I don't want you to hate math. I don't want you to hate Calc. Calc is one of the coolest things that you can go through and do, even if it's just something you learn like on your own. But the stuff that we do, you have a good algebra base. Calc is just more steps with algebra. But the stuff that we do, I'm telling you, it's sort of a combination of what you're doing, but it's the stuff that separates people out and gets you so you can get sort of, put it to you this way, there's not many sort of architects and guys working in the Port of New Orleans or wherever who are using Calc and making, what's minimum wage? $11 an hour? $75? Hopefully you'll make enough to get out of your parents' basement. That's the goal. That's the goal. And I don't need you to like me. You want it. But hate fuels me just like that. But be here because you want it, and I hope you enjoy it. In all honesty, I really do. I don't yell at you. I don't care. I don't want this to sound wrong. I don't care how you do. I hope you get something out. That's the only thing. So if you get frustrated, come and see myself. And by the way, some of you will become accustomed to, who knows who Miss Coyton is? Where can you find Miss Coyton? Math lab. Where's the math lab, by the way? Yeah, it's at the end of the hallway. Now, Mr. English is down there for a little bit until Ms. Coyton comes back. She had a hip replacement surgery. And by the way, she's still anxious to come back and see you all. I think she's 84, had hip surgery, and she's anxious to come back and see you. As in the doctors are telling her, you need to stay home longer. She wants to come in probably now. Go down and visit her. She'll do the Calc with you. She taught this class for 45 years. She knows how to teach. If you don't take advantage of it, it's on you. And by the way, that tutoring that she gives you for free, if you were to do it with this face, that's how much it is. You were to get me outside of it. $60 an hour for Calc. Or you can go to Ms. Coy, who is $0 an hour. By the way, who's worked with Ms. Coy before? Is she mean? Does she throw things? These are your grandma. That's the time I want to pinch your cheeks. Now, we got done the boring part. We'll finish with the boring part. You guys are probably sick. I've seen this. Don't worry. I'll tell you this. Bring some pencils and paper. I'll tell you this. When I do Calc, for some reason, I can't do it in a big binder because I feel like I'm not taking up enough space. Get yourselves to do your work. Steno book. Something like this. For me, it's a heck of a lot easier than carrying around a big, binder. You can rip the pages out easy. I do a problem page and then go on. Find something where you can keep your work because we're going to have assignments that you have to do on a computer, etc. You're going to need a space to do your work. Oh. So if you keep your Steno book with you, everything's always bound together and it's not some big monstrosity like a regular notebook is. This is your grade breakdown you have. For those of you who I haven't had before, you have an assessment pretty much every day when you come in. Someone will ask you to be calc-based, some are algebra, some will have your calculator, some you won't. They're just designed to be little grades to let you know sort of how you're progressing through the course. Are you where you need to be? Your quizzes you'll have a little bit more infrequently. Tests you probably have 2 or 3 a quarter. They count for the majority of the points. You can read. I'm trying to think of the other stuff that's on there. Don't be a grade worshiper, please. These are big ones, though, down here. We take what we do every day, and it's posted. If you do miss for any reason, and literally the reasons that I had in one class last year, varied from somebody who left because of a death in the family, and there was someone in the same class who skipped that day and got written out. I'm going, no, I had a hangnail. I had to go to the doctor. That was literally, so I don't ask why you're not here. I just ask that you give us 30-ish minutes, even just copy down what we basically missed. It does have a cumulative effect. Calc is built off of itself, so you've got to make sure you're sort of solid. Who here got a question wrong at some point in a math class in your? Okay. And who here, when you got home, did your parents meet you at the door and say, "We love you so much. Our love for you is diminished in relation to your siblings because you got this question in math class"? That happened? Okay. They still love you no matter what. You're going to make mistakes. Get over it. And to be, in all honesty, it's 1,000 times better to fail and figure out why than it is to get it right and have no idea why. We were going over something the other day with factoring. I'll even tell you this. How many of you right now know why you would go through and factor? What's it? Okay. Maybe we'll get something. We got to get you there. We'll go through, we'll do the math, and we'll get you there. This is the last thing that is very frustrating. I don't want to ruin it. Some of you could probably get a 3 or 4 on that exam, maybe even today. And some of you, it will require endless hours of trying, failure, disappointment, etc. Back up and keep trying. If you're invested in it, if it's important to you. Because the one thing, at least from my end, that gets frustrating is we're like, well, I'm trying, but my grades are poor. I'm not trying to diminish it, but does the trying part matter in terms of the grade? No. I'm not diminishing. You're going to have to work harder than some people. I don't want to ruin it. If I were to go out and, let's say, try to play, let's say this. Do you think I would be a very good marathoner? You're so full of it. I don't even like walking to the car. I'm waiting for a day that we install those things like at the airport that just you stand on and it takes you where you're supposed to go. That's what I want. I hate running. If somebody forced me to run, would it be frustrating? Yes. But if I wanted to get better at it, would I quit the first time it was hard? No. Does it mean in the beginning I'm a bad runner? Does it mean I'm a bad human? In terms of like evolution, probably I'm a bad human because I'm not able to escape predators. But as a person, I'm pretty good. So I'm okay with that. You've got to understand your calc grade and your self-worth are not equal to each other. And your calc grade is way more important. Now, and this is another thing. It's not really a thing. Some people copy homework. What do you think is going to happen when you get to the test? Like, you think it's magically just going to be like, oh, now I remember I have to recopy that question I copied from days earlier. It's not how it works. That's why, like, even if you get it wrong, there's partial credit in there. But own yourself. You can work with other people, just don't regurgitate what they're giving. I will say this is the part that's a little not. Go in, please. Have your Chromebooks out. Do you know, raise your hand if you can get into your student portal. Okay, that's one thing. Did they give you, well, if they didn't give you out a sheet before, I shared with you the directions in classroom that the other people did. Your classroom code is the one that's listed on the syllabus there at the bottom. If we go in here, where are we at? Enrich. There's our Calc. All right, so on here you will see, here is your course expectation sheet. That's the first one there. If you click on the third one down, for some reason it won't populate that title automatically. This is how you log in to the portal. Those are like the directions if you need it reset. I'm really not that invested in the portal stuff. This let's handle, actually, so raise your hand if you're signed up for Classroom as of now. And by the way, when we hands up, that means like this, we didn't side arm or anything, we're not going to be able to check. Who's in Classroom now? All right? There, good, good, good. Neck, are you there? Okay, good. Down the bottom of your syllabus. Okay? All right. You can take that all about me sheet, keep that to the side. We may have time at the end, but if we don't, say that can be part of homework for tonight. We got you signed up for Classroom. One thing, too, that we're going to have you do, I don't know how you all choose to sign up for Remind, is up to you. But if you click on the Remind instructions in here, there's actually a link to do it by email. Some people don't want it on their phone. That's fine. If you click at the bottom of the instruction sheet, it will tell you. Click here. You can use email to sign up. You can text it in this way or that. It tells you the code. You can go through and do it. You can use the app. I don't care how you get it. Sign up through some method. There are many times that I'll send out a remind message that, hey, you got a quiz tomorrow. But most important, that's probably how I'm going to send out homework answers. So if you go through and do out the homework, I'll send it out through Remind. It might be a link in your phone then, or it might be an email if that's how you choose. I don't care how it happens, but you need to do one of these three. And if you want to sign up by email, click on the thing in Classroom, and it'll get you signed up. If you have the app, you can just type in that code. I think it's just Math Calc, no spaces. And raise your hand once you've done that. We've got 2 so far. We're getting there. 3. Close. Keep going. 4. 5. We're getting there. Check again in 30 seconds. So you know what else we can do? Upload, browse. I think even by, I don't know if I'm allowed to even tell you this, but hypothetically, if I were to be able to tell you something, it would be that someone may have randomly added a PDF copy of your textbook to Google Classroom. That's not a officially licensed copy, but it's also incredibly portable. And if only we could have stopped the person from doing that, but it looks like it's too late. Darn. Okay, so in any event, maybe that's up there, maybe it's not. This is your first unit notes if you ever need them. This is one thing that you are sort of responsible for knowing tonight. If you click on that function, the one that says parent functions on there, you're responsible for knowing what those graphs, generic graphs look like. You're responsible for knowing what y equals x looks like. You're responsible for knowing what y equals x squared looks like. You're responsible for the cube function, the quartic function, etc., and their properties. That's stuff that, from what I understand, you should have covered in pre-calc, and I know for sure you covered most of it in LH2. We're going to see how that sort of relates. We're going to do a different assignment than some, but make sure, please, that we have that, and you're make a note to yourself. You are responsible for knowing that piece. Trying to think what else. You know how to log into the portal. For MathXL, you will have MathXL for this year. I will post the instructions to go through and sign up. If you are, and by the way, get yourselves ready, because when you do go on beyond this, if U of R, we use MathXL or some form of it. Same thing with U of R does, NAS does, MCC does, and I think RIT does. Those are the only places I've worked. There might be more. But so when you go on and you were to take Calc even next year, you probably have the same interface. So get used to it. Trying to think of what else you might have. This, by the way, is a little bit of a let's do this. Sorry. First 2 rows over here. Can you guys go grab a calculator now over on the side for me, please? And you are responsible for picking one up when you come in. You'll see as we go through, though, it's not going to be used every single day. So there may be days where we tell you, go in, grab the calculator, you have to keep it under your desk during parts of it, or maybe during your assessment. before you guys go grab one now. We're going to show you how to go through and log in. I don't know how many of the different groups had that before. Do you have a calculator, Tommy? You got one? Good? Can you hear me or no? Okay. So, first thing that we'll have you guys go through and do, and we'll need this a lot in here, is to go through and log in to your calculators. Now, the way to make that happen is, and you probably are going to want to write this down, when you come in, make sure you're on the home screen and hit 5. Now, when you're in there, before we log in, take a look, please, at the button that says Log In. Does anyone have that button grayed out right now? Okay, if it ever is grayed out, turn the calculator over. Turn the calculator over, and you can go through and hit Reset on the back. Should be good in a minute. Now, to log in, the login is going to be the first letter of your first name and then your last name, and the password's 1234. There may be some of you who that doesn't work for. If your name is if it doesn't work, let me know. Either your name was too long and it rejected it, or there might have been a roster change within the last day or two that would result in you not being in time. Everybody not able to go through and log in. How many of us know? This is how we can check. So, go through, make sure that you're able to log in, first letter of your first name and then your last name. So, now, your first name, Christina?
Yeah.
That you, okay.
Yeah.
Is it working or not? No? Okay, yours is it? Now, what's your name, honey? All right, see me at the end. Are you up there or no? I don't see your name up there. Check with me, did you have a recent schedule change or no? Okay, check with me at the end of the period we'll answer. Okay? What's going to happen is I can pull your screen and I can send questions out to you, whatever. I don't do the typing in here, you guys do. But you'll make sure to go through and log in. Think of whatever stuff. You've got, yeah, your password is 1234. Make sure you write your stuff down. That is a little bit comical. You guys will use these passwords very, very quickly. I think that. Oh, in terms of what your homework is for tonight, I'm actually going to give you a couple things that may be a little bit different. The packet that you picked up, by the way, on the side, if you didn't, make sure you've got one. It outlines sort of what we're going to do for homework tonight. Here's the part that you can't do. So you're going to need to already edit and advise, etc. on the side. This is your first unit of Calc notes, and I threw homeworks in that we could do a little bit extra, etc. So your homework for tonight is going to be a little bit different. We got through everything. We're not going to do a worksheet on inequalities. I'll tell you what your homework, though, is going to be. For sure, you got to know your parent functions. So you might want to fill that in on the right. Know your parent functions. And actually, as we go through, you can see the pages are numbered. Maybe this will be... Did they do limits? You did limits in pre-calc last year, correct? Okay. Now, what I'd advise you to try is go over to page 23 through 25. It gives you a bunch of graphs and asks you to find the limit. I think you can do that. We may even come back to visit those. But actually, I have the comment notes ready. Yeah, here's what we'll do. This will make it easier for you. So I think I've got a way where we can make this easy for tonight. No, we'll table those. Just know that they're there, because I'll have you come back to them in a minute. You'll be doing that at some point. I didn't know if you guys had done... Did you all do limits before? Is that right? Okay, I just wanted to know, because that sheet's on there. It's a good help, but the other class isn't doing it, but we'll do it, sort of make sure we stand well with limits. Go over, please, to page 38 and 39. I guess maybe 38 is the start. Your homework is going to be to finish out, and I know it sounds like a lot, but before we go crazy, 38 through the end. You go, oh my God, there's 5 pages. Well, that's quite possibly the case. Look at how challenging that first one is. You've got to type in an absolute value graph and sketch it. It should take at least a month. By the way, look at, we can fill in A already. What type of graph is the one shown above? Well, let's use our words. What is that called? Absolute value, good. And now what shape can we say that is? Look at this. Without MIT, right? Now, you can keep going. Can you find your y-intercept? Sure. And your x-intercept? And can you sketch the graph of its domain? If you're a Calc kid, how long should this take us? Thank you. I'd say 2 minutes, maybe. And that's trying to find me, where's the absolute value bars on the calculator? Look at the one next to it. Let's see if we can bang that one up. What type of function family is the one to the right of that going to be? Square root, yeah. What's its shape going to be? I don't know, kind of curves a little bit. Uh-oh. Look at the next one, 4 to the x power. Wow. I mean, come on. Are these going to be tough? Let's hope not. So I would say finish those up. And the last thing, look at pages 42 and 43. That's freshman math. Okay? But to sit here and pretend like algebra isn't going to happen is dumb. This class, and we're going to tell it to you a billion times over, the calculus, believe it or not, is not a tough concept. Calculus by itself, alone, I don't want to even ruin it. Dare I say at times it's easy. Calculus is looking at nonlinear functions like the one that's hanging in the back of the room and finding the slope at those different intervals. And calculus looks at how these things play in 3 dimensions, etc. But calculus itself is just a bunch of ideas. What's going to kill you? Algebra. I mean, and for some of you, you run into it like a brick wall. We have kids who can clearly tell me what a derivative is. And then they'll go, all right, take the derivative of 2x squared plus, wait, I take this, and then I'm, what? And it's the algebra that gets you stuck. So we got to make sure you're solid on it. All right? So my advice for tonight, I think where did we start? 38 to the end? Okay? Now, you want to know? I know you're probably thinking, oh, what a bag. I hate that guy. Well, I'll show you. I'm kind of, at times, not a complete soulless monster. Let's do this. We'll try to help you out a little bit. But again, don't use this, please, as a crutch. Where are we at? Help. What was the one you're doing? Function family review. I think this is it. Let's look. Upload. I think that this is done out, like all the way, and invariably, now I already know this is going to happen. I'm bracing for the 1 or 2 that we'll get. I'm going to hear a complaint. This is a part where you, what is it? What's our slogan? Be kind and work hard. Is that it, maybe? This is the part where you're kind to me. Now, what do you think I'm going to hear about 800 times when people open this, if it opens at all? Besides, the internet isn't working. Look at this. Like lightning, it works here. I'm so lucky here. Now, what do you think I'm going to hear? It's sideways. Now, everyone right now, take your head and turn it to the left, almost like a dog. You're like, do you want to go for a walk outside? See? And all of a sudden, now you can see it, right? We're big kids. We can overcome this adversity, all right? And by the way, are all of them there for you to see? Yeah. And I'll know you copied it because some of you will start showing work that you can't explain. That's another thing that I love. When I go through with you and we're doing calc and I'm sitting there going, now what is this down here? You go, Is that slightly suspicious if there's rogue numbers on your paper that you don't know where they can't explain? Yeah. If you're going to fail, own it. Be you. Like, stop being somebody. Don't pass being somebody else. Fail being you. It's okay. No one judges. By the way, no offense, when you go to college, here we get pressured to pass people. When you go to college, a third of the class will drop before week 3. A third. Stop thinking that it's going to be easy. It's not. You know what's nice? You get a full year, not 3 months to learn Calc. You've got myself. You've got, Ms. Coig at the end of the hall. We've got supports for you, more than you'd have at school. So make sure, please, we get that done. I'm trying to think of what else we have. And by the way, this, hypothetically, oh my goodness. It's almost like the book. It's the full textbook. So that's your full book. If you need it, I think, though, that's pretty much, I'm going to ruin it. Maybe we did. Oh, I do have a little dealie that we can do together to help you out this year. When you came in, finish your All About Me for homework and the rest of those pages I sent that other stuff. We're going to actually do this guy now. So we have this yellow guy out. And we're going to encounter, perhaps we'll say, some adult situations in a moment. Take a look as we're doing this out. We should be on our foldable now. It looks like this. It says factoring on it. Now, we've got some that we're going to fill in on the right-hand side. On the left, you're going to see the examples, and on the right-hand side, you're going to go through and fill them out. So let's take a look at the first one. I've got 16a squared minus 12a. Hands up if you don't fold anything. Not yet. Who can tell me, please, what type of factoring we can do on 16a squared minus 12a? Hands up, please, when you can tell me how we can break that down into a product instead of 2 binomials. We got 1, 2 of us. What type of factorization would we do on that first one? And what's your GCF going to be? 4a. And when I take the 4a out, I'm left with. Now, this is wrong, by the way. And this is this board, for those of you who had me in the past, for some reason, this board is absolute garbage now. We may even need to start a GoFundMe or something to get the stooges in charge of the district purchasing, whatever, to recognize that we can't write on the board. So I have to type, which, by the way, you know what's worse than writing that by hand? Typing it. But if I screw up, we'll fix it. So be on the lookout. And I had fat fingers when I was doing this. What's the error? Should be another 4a in front here, 4a. And by the way, it's a quantity, there's multiplication. What about the second one? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. What type of factoring can we do on the one immediately below it? Holy cow. We got one person. We'll wait for 5 of us. Maybe we should just go back to advanced algebra 1. We got one person who can tell us how to factor the first 2 of us. Isn't on the MIT entrance side. We should be able to nail it. 3. How are we going to say? What is the GCF? And what's left when you take that out? You're going to have a trinomial, by the way. Who can tell me the trinomial that's left inside those parentheses after we go through and list this out? Somebody look. Don't forget that 1. If you divide out that whole quantity, it's 3n squared over 3n squared, we get the 1. Questions on that? We're not as solid, though, as we need to be. Or maybe we're just too quiet. What about x squared minus 9x plus 18? Hands up when you can tell me that one. X squared minus 9x plus 18. Hands up, please, when you can tell me. What will this factor down to? We got no takers, seriously? 1 person. How? 2? Falling behind in geometry enriched, please. 3 of us? Yeah. Go ahead. quantities of, so we need parentheses around, but they're binomials. If I were to FOIL those, first out and last, I get back the one on the left. How about the second one? Might be slightly different, but get over it. You can do the pattern. What do we get if we take x to the 4th plus 7x squared plus 12? Hands up if you can tell me what that would factor down to be. We got one person who can take a stab at it, 2, 3 of us. What do you want to say?
X squared plus 3x squared plus 4.
Thank you. None of those can be factored further. First terms need to give us those ones that we had previous. This next one is probably the most difficult out of all of them. We have to find terms that are going to multiply to give you the lead value, and those go in the first place. You need to find terms, or in this case values, that will multiply to -3. Put those at the end, and the arrangement of them causes me to get 2m squared minus 5m minus 3. How many of us can successfully factor down that guess and check factor? We've got 1, 2 so far, 3. Thank you. This is, I don't want to say easy, but it is limiting because the 2 is prime and so is the 3. What do you want to say? First terms, give me 2m's. You said plus 1 and minus 3. That's absolutely right. You would do the FOIL to check. Next two. These also, I hope, are easy. What about 9a squared minus 16? Hands up when you can tell me what 9a squared minus 16 will factor down to. We got no takers so far. Ah. Jack, what do you want to say? What about 25 minus x squared? Hands up when you can give me that one. I know one person's got it. Okay. Does the variable always have to go first? No. Now, the next one, I find this to be a little bit frustrating because some people don't maybe teach this the right way, or in a way that kind of explains the math. They do it as like some sort of divine intervention is happening. As you do out, when there's 4 terms and a single GCF doesn't exist, it's possible for a triple GCF to exist. What that means is, look at 2 terms together and see if there's a common factor. If there's a common factor from the first 2 and the second 2 that establishes a third common factor, then you can go through and factor the expression by grouping. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is view it in terms of 3 GCFs. Whole thing, does this polynomial have a GCF in its whole? No. Look over here. Do the first 2 terms have a GCF? Yes or no? What can we factor out? Hands up, please, when you can tell me. Yep. So let's take out a 2x squared, and when we're done, we get 2x plus 1. Now look at the second 2 terms. What can I factor out there? Yes?
-1.
Take out a -1. And now I'm left with a 2x plus. How many times, by the way, have I done GCF so far? How many? 2. Look at what you're left with. What's your third GCF? The third GCF is 2x plus 1. What's left when you take the 2x plus 1 out? 2x squared minus 1. That's why that works. I love this notion that there's some sort of angel from heaven that's saying it down or something. You get a GCF 3 times, that's it. It's not magic factoring or something. There's one person who used to work with, thank God they don't. Called it magic factoring. Is this magic? Is this? Is David Blaine going to hop out from behind the fridge in a minute and go, ta-da? No. It's math. There's no magic. Now, the last ones that we're going to go through and do, I'll even leave for you. I want to bang this part up. This is, you did all this for a reason. And this is the adults. We need to make sure we're safe. Turn it over on the back. Now, you see there randomly, there's this box where there's 6 cards of factoring, and I don't know how to, what I want you to stop, don't listen to him. Take and fold, please, along, so this border is your margin, okay? Now, increase it going down. Now, this is where, congratulations, you might have a lunch. What I need you to do, loves, is this. What you're going to do now, fold along that edge, otherwise it won't look right when you open it. Fold it along the edge. You should be able to see the part where it says factoring. You know, you just got to fold on this line and take it over about an inch. Okay? See how you can see that it should say factoring on the side? It should look like this. Raise your hand if yours looks like this. Now, you're going to come up here. If you're not responsible, one of these will be used in a wrong way. Take the adult non-safety scissors. No running. You come over, see this? You're going to cut and make a little pull tab. Now, ready? You were thinking, oh, it just says factoring. Well, what does that look? Now, how many times are we going to do that? Until they're done, okay? You don't need to cut these off, by the way. So come up, grab some adult scissors. Help each other out. Don't, make sure the person's cutting the right way. Tommy, did you get one? You got the PDF though? What's that? On a piece of paper? If you're able to print them out and just do one on top of the other, if not, you can just keep that little sheet to help yourself. All right? Now, who's got their cuts done? When you're done, bring your scissors back. Done? No? Here. Share the scissors. Don't stab them. See? Now, we'll finish this up later. What's your homework for tonight, loves? And where are you going to find the first 4 pages of it done out? It's already posted. It's already posted, all right? So keep that with us. If you get stuck ever, thank you. If you get stuck and you need some factoring help, take a look at that guy. We'll finish it up next time we have class. Thank you very much for your hard work. We'll get you signed up for Math Excel and stuff later on. Have a great day, guys. All right, so Tommy, I don't know what to do with you now. You don't have a class after this, right? All right, so I'm going to close you down. Is that how it works? All right, I'm going to close you down, but I'm going to give you to Miss Metz, okay? Because you have her later today, right? Do you have physics today? Okay. Oh, it's on the back here. Yeah, I'll bring you down to her now, okay? But it's not till 7 o'clock, it looks like. So the only thing, Tommy, that I think might be an issue for you is when we go in and you have your tests, I think because the exams are secure, we may need you to, like, find, are there teachers there? Okay, so we just need somebody that I can email the test to because they have secure AP questions on them. So we just can't sort of like email it to anybody. I want to make sure we're emailing it to me and Miss Metz have the same thing, but we're going to work with Barilla to make sure we can get it to work for you. All right? Sound like a plan? And don't hesitate to email if you have any questions. I can't believe you're even attempting this, so good. We'll do our damnedest to make sure you get as close to a 6 on the AP, 5 for your score and 1 more for your effort. How's that? All right. We'll see you soon, bud. I'm going to close this down, but I'll see you with Maps, okay? All right. Bye. Okay. Yes. So we need to get your name in here, honey. All right. Hang on 1 second. Let me stop our